back to the Gridiron Expert. Just last week, the AP released their preseason top 25 poll. But if you're a fan of the channel, you know that we're not the biggest fans of the AP poll. Never have been, probably never will be. Which is why we have taken it upon ourselves to give you our preseason top 25 poll, our GE top 25, our official set of rankings right here at the Gridiron Expert that we bring to you every single week from now until the end of the college football season. Rankings that actually have some true thought behind it. Rankings that take into consideration every single factor, something that AP does not do. Rankings that, yes, of course, we're not all going to agree with, but strive to be as accurate and precise as possible. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. We're so glad that you could join us today, giving you our preseason top 25 poll heading into week 0, just 6 days away. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below, including those expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Again, guys, our week 0 spread picks come out on Wednesday. We are just a few days away from our first picks being released this season. If you want to take advantage of all those picks, go sign up today. One of the lowest prices in the country for the best spread picks in the entire country, beating out over 80% of the national handicappers each of the last 5 years. We can guarantee you a winning record, guarantee that you will make money right back in your pocket, and guarantee the best customer service that any handicapper in the country can give you. So take advantage of those picks down in the description below. Take a look at our Patreon account for exclusive college football content year-round, and send us some gear. We would love to get some more teams represented throughout the course of this season. We've got some of our top 25 teams up there: LSU, USC, Texas, Tulane, Arkansas maybe on the outside looking in. But we'd love to get your team represented in every single Gridiron Expert video. Send it to that mailing address down in the description below, and let's get this season started on the right foot. So let's dive into it, guys. Our preseason top 25. We'll go team by team rather quickly here, kind of briefly explaining some reasoning and where they kind of stacked up against the AP. But obviously, you know, we agree with some of their picks. We agree with some. We're going back to the handy-dandy whiteboard, by the way, bringing it back by popular demand. But we agree with a handful of AP picks. Obviously, Georgia and Michigan at number 1 and number 2, to me, feel undisputed. I mean, Georgia right now is the best team in college football until proven otherwise. The back-to-back reigning champions going for their 3rd straight national title. Yes, they have questions at quarterback right now. Carson Beck definitely going to do a phenomenal job. The defense solid as always. I can't put someone ahead of Georgia right now. I just can't do it. Can't understand why anybody would. Michigan, though, is right behind them. A loaded team with an experienced offense, the best running back room in the country, great quarterback room as well. The defense solid as always under Jim Harbaugh, who might miss the first couple games of the year, but that shouldn't mess up Michigan at all. Wolverines are a true national title threat and a playoff contender once again, just like they have been each of the last 2 years. So Georgia and Michigan at number 1 and number 2. Just like we had them back in January in our way too early top 25. You know, we did these rankings 7 months ago, right as the season ended. We have a couple shakeups since then, but those two, of course, going to stay the same. Alabama, we have at 3. Some have Alabama and Ohio State interchangeable. The AP does, with Ohio State going at 3rd, Alabama coming in at 4th. We think the opposite. We still have a lot of faith in Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide to have a breakout year, a great year, despite some questions offensively, despite what maybe some of the media and pundits are saying, that Alabama's going to take this major step back and they're going to crumble. Right now, people are concerned they're not going to be as strong as they've been in years past, and maybe that could be the case. But I still have faith in the greatest coach of all time to get the job done at Alabama. I think the offense is going to be better than people realize. The defense, certainly the strength of the team. Watch out for the Crimson Tide, guys. The same can go for Ohio State. Questions for the Buckeyes, especially at the quarterback position. They have the best wide receiver room in the country. The defense is certainly no slouch. Running back core, not nearly as bad either, as some people might speculate. I like Ohio State a lot. The Big Ten is going to be a lot of fun between Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State. The Buckeyes coming in at number 4. LSU for us comes in at number 5. The Tigers are for real, guys. They've got a pretty favorable schedule, loaded with talent. Jaden Daniels is back. All their running backs return. They've got a 1,000-yard receiver returning, and that defense is unbelievable. That defense going to be unreal for LSU this season. So for us, no doubt, a top 5 team in the country. You know, and it's going to be exciting to watch the Tigers face off in week 1 against what we believe is another top 10 team in Florida State, who we have right behind them at number 6. AP poll has them at number 8. I wasn't too upset with that. I think the Seminoles just being in the top 10 is good enough. We had them a little bit higher at number 6. This team is loaded on offense. Jordan Travis is a legitimate Heisman Trophy contender, had a lot of weapons at his disposal, and that defense was phenomenal last year, should be even better this year. This, to me, LSU and Florida State is by far the best game of week 1. That, of course, will be on that Sunday night. Right behind Florida State, we got Penn State coming in at number 7. We had them at 7th back in January. Going to keep them there now. Still a great running back room as well with Nick Singleton and Katron Allen. You've got Drew Aller coming in at quarterback. A lot of talent, a lot of optimism around the Penn State faithful, around their new quarterback. And that defense with Manny Diaz as defensive coordinator, going to be really, really good, guys. Penn State has an opportunity to finally break through to the college football playoff under James Franklin. They have to go to Ohio State, yes, do get to host Michigan. If the Nittany Lions can find a way to split those two games, go 1-1, maybe finish the year at 11-1, all bets are off. It'll create chaos in the Big Ten East. It'll create chaos when it comes to the college football playoff. Going to be a lot of fun, and Penn State has a great opportunity to do that this year, no doubt about it. Behind Penn State, USC. Some say USC a little low at number 8. The AP poll has them at number 6, so we kind of flop USC and Florida State here. Trojans might end up having the best offense in the country. I mean, I don't know if you can really dispute that with the Heisman Trophy winner coming back in Caleb Williams. But the defense still is a bit of a question mark for Lincoln Riley's squad. The defense is something that could end up holding them back from another Pac-12 title or a college football playoff berth. They have to face elite teams like Washington and Oregon and Utah. This is a good USC team, but how quickly can their defense start to gel and figure things out? That's a million-dollar question. USC in at number 8. Right behind them is Washington, number 9, one of the more elite offenses in the country as well, with Michael Penix, almost all of his pass catchers returning. The number 1 passing attack in the country last year, and they returned pretty much everybody to help make that happen. That defense, too, for the Huskies is not a slouch. People are kind of focusing so much on Washington's offense. I think we're kind of disregarding the Huskies' defense. Watch out for Washington, guys. This is a team that has the talent to maybe run the table, go 11-1, maybe even undefeated. Should find themselves in the Pac-12 championship like we predict. If they can win that, they might find themselves in the college football playoffs. So watch out for Kalen DeBoer and Washington, guys. 11 wins last year, have a chance to match that again this year. Rounding out our top 10 is Clemson. The AP poll had them at number 9. We have them at 10. Kind of flip-flopping Washington and Clemson here when it came to the AP poll. Some would say that's too high for the Tigers. I ask you why. This is a team that has won double-digit games each of the last 2 years, the reigning ACC champions. Sure, they haven't made the playoffs like they want, but they're still loaded with talent. Got a great offensive coordinator coming in Garrett Riley. Kay Klubnik returns. Will Shipley returns after rushing over 1,000 yards last year. And that defense, all 3 levels, defensive line, linebacking core, secondary, will be one of the best in the country. Clemson is going to be a tough team to stop this year. Keep in mind, their 2 toughest games, Florida State and Notre Dame. Clemson gets to host in Death Valley. Watch out for the Tigers, guys. People have kind of written them off because they failed to make the playoff the last 2 years. This could be the year they find themselves back, and to me, certainly worthy of a top 10 spot. So that rounds out the top 10. Over in the second column, you've got Oregon coming in at number 11, another elite Pac-12 title contender. Thought the AP poll ranked them way too low, ranked them at 15th. This Ducks team, guys, you got to keep in mind, was in the college football playoff hunt late into last year, like second week of November. If they don't lose to Washington, we don't really know what happens. They don't lose to Washington. Maybe they don't blow the lead to Oregon State. If Bo Nix is fully healthy down the stretch, who knows what happens? Still, a solid year for Oregon, winning 10 games in year 1 under Dan Lanning. They have an opportunity to get back to the college football playoff for the first time since its inception back in 2014. They have an opportunity to win the Pac-12 this year. It's going to be tough with teams like USC, Washington, Utah, guys like that. But Oregon was ranked too low by the Associated Press. This is a team that is absolutely legit and will have one of the better offenses in the nation, with one of the better quarterbacks in the nation. Right behind them, we have Notre Dame, who should see a major leap forward offensively with the addition of Sam Hartman coming in from Wake Forest, one of the best quarterbacks in ACC history. Now finds himself in South Bend with a stingy defense. The Fighting Irish, year in and year out, seem to be college football playoff contenders. That is no exception this year. They have a great opportunity to make a statement in late September when they get to host Ohio State. If the Fighting Irish win that game, watch out. Yes, they do have to go to Clemson, but they do also get to host USC. They've got a favorable schedule when it comes to the home slate. Ohio State and USC both coming to South Bend. Notre Dame, even if they go 11-1, could find themselves in the playoff mix by season's end. We have them as a top 12 team. Right behind them, Tennessee. AP poll had them at 12. We have them at 13. Not that big of a difference there. Tennessee, obviously, when you lose some of your top receivers, when you lose a guy like Hendon Hooker, you're going to take a little bit of a step back. But Volunteer schedule lines up perfectly for them, where their 2 biggest games, albeit on the road, are against Alabama and Georgia. If they, kind of like Penn State, can split those games, the Volunteers have a chance to go 11-1 possibly, and have a shot at winning the SEC East and making the college football playoff. And Tennessee, guys, no slouch. Should start in the top 15. Obviously did by the AP poll, should remain there for the majority of the year. Joe Milton, the biggest thing for him is accuracy. He's got a heck of an arm, we know it, but can he be accurate? That's going to be the biggest thing for the Volunteers offense. Texas coming in at 14. Some would say Texas 14, too low. What are you doing? AP had him at 11. Can't buy into Texas right now. I think the hype is there. They are loaded with talent. The offense practically has everybody coming back. I believe in Quinn Ewers if he can stay fully healthy. And that defense is no slouch. Again, kind of like Washington, everybody wants to focus on Quinn Ewers and this Texas offense, and they disregard the defense that is really underrated. But Texas seemingly consistently falls short of expectations. Always seem to do that. And I can't justify putting them in the top 10. Really can't justify putting them in my top 12 right now. The talent is there, but I don't want to put them, and I don't feel like they are better than some of the teams that we have ahead of them right now. They have an opportunity to prove us wrong, though, and prove everybody wrong if they can beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa in week 2. Utah coming in at number 15 out of the Pac-12, had them at 14 in our way too early top 25. AP had them there as well. Biggest thing right now for Utah is the health of Cam Rising. A top 15 start is great, could all come crumbling down as they host Florida in week 1, travel to Baylor in week 2. If Cam Rising's not 100% healthy, even a 1-1 start in those first 2 games could be detrimental to Utah's success this year. Keep in mind the Utes trying to go for their 3rd straight Pac-12 championship. Oregon State coming in at 16. How about the Beavers building something in Corvallis? Stingy defense, improved quarterback play with DJ Uiagalelei. That's all you need to know about Oregon State. They've got a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. Really favorable home slate where they've been dang near unstoppable these last few years under Jonathan Smith. Watch out for the Beavers, guys. You're looking for a Pac-12 dark horse? Oregon State is it. Kansas State, they were the Big 12 dark horse last year. We have them coming in at 17. A lot of talent coming back for the Wildcats, who, again, won the Big 12 last year over TCU. Defense remains stingy as always. Offense going to be a little solid as well, but still have question marks at wide receiver. And obviously replacing Deuce Vaughn is a big, big loss and a big hole the Wildcats have to fill. But regardless, this is the team that can contend for another Big 12 title this year, just like TCU can, coming in at 18. College football playoff semifinalist last year, national runner-up, falling to Georgia in that national title. Yes, they lose Max Duggan, Quentin Johnston, and obviously Kendra Miller. Lose your biggest 3, playmakers on offense. But Sonny Dykes has done a great job recruiting. They have a great guy coming in, Chandler Morris. This is a TCU team that people want to write off because of the losses, but don't realize the talent that the Horned Frogs have. This is a team that probably is not going to make it back to the national championship game, but will be a force to be reckoned with in the Big 12. Wisconsin in at 19. Love the Badgers this year. Love what Luke Fickell is doing with the program in Madison. Love Tanner Mordecai. Love Braylon Allen. Love the wide receiver core. Love the offensive line. The defense, stingy as always. New offensive coordinator in Phil Longo. Going to air it out more than we've ever seen from Wisconsin. Don't sleep on the Badgers. They're a legitimate Big Ten title contender and a legitimate college football playoff dark horse with as favorable as a schedule as they have. Texas Tech in at number 20. They weren't even ranked by the AP poll. Probably the biggest snub from the Associated Press was Texas Tech. They finished the year strong, finished with 8 wins. They returned practically everybody on offense. Tons of momentum coming into this year. Defense should improve. They were pretty bad last year. Should have taken a big step forward this year. And the AP didn't even rank them. They were like the team receiving the most votes, right on the outside looking in. First team out. They are in. And they are in solidly with us here at the Gridiron Expert. I love Texas Tech this year. They are a true Big 12 dark horse. They are a team that could really light things up this year. And they have a chance, kind of like Texas, to prove some doubters wrong or at least make a statement when they take on Oregon in Lubbock in week 2. You beat Oregon, watch out for the Red Raiders. This team is really, really good, and to me, certainly top 25 worthy. We believe top 20 worthy. Final 5 teams here. North Carolina in at 21, right around where the AP had them, right at 21st. We had them at 20th in our way too early poll. Drake May, solid offense. He's going to carry the team. Can the defense improve? UNC, if their defense was solid, maybe could have found themselves higher in these rankings, but again, have a chance to prove us wrong. Tough slate to start the year, though. They play South Carolina, and they got App State, and they got Minnesota. First few games of the year are going to be very telling for the Tar Heels. Ole Miss coming in at 22. Obviously, Lane Kiffin, the transfer portal king, adding a lot of key additions on both sides of the ball. Offense should be phenomenal with Quinshon Judkins coming in. Ole Miss going to have a strong first test in week 2 when they take on Tulane, who we have in at 23. The highest-ranked Group of 5 conference champion last year, who stunned USC in the Cotton Bowl, won 12 games last year. Tulane is a legitimate team, guys. They are good. Michael Pratt returns at quarterback. A lot of guys coming back on offense. A lot of guys coming back on defense as well. This is a good good Tulane team, and they have a chance to make a statement and say, hey, last year wasn't a fluke. Last year was not like a one-hit wonder type of deal. If they can get past a good South Alabama team in week 1, they're going to set up a huge home showdown, top 25 showdown against Ole Miss. New Orleans, they'll be rocking, and that's an opportunity for Tulane to make that statement and remain the front runner for a New Year's Six bowl game. Rounding out the top 25, Iowa in at 24. Look, some would say, how? Iowa was bad last year. No, they weren't. The offense was bad last year. The defense was phenomenal. They still won 8 games. Defense going to be even better than they were last year. Now they've got improved quarterback play with Cade McNamara. I'm not saying they should be high in the top 25, but they absolutely deserve to be ranked, no doubt about it. And South Carolina deserves to be ranked too. The AP poll did not rank them. Another big snub, in my opinion. You return a star quarterback in Spencer Rattler, his top wide receiver in Antoine Wells, one of the best wide receivers in the SEC. A defense that certainly has some questions, but shouldn't be as bad as people think. Carries a lot of momentum into this year. Yes, they lost their bowl game at the end of the year with wins over Tennessee and Clemson, ruining both of their college football playoff hopes. South Carolina is, to me, a top 25 team to start the year, which should give us it should have been a top 25 matchup on Saturday night as North Carolina takes on South Carolina in Charlotte. That will be arguably the best Saturday game of week 1. The best overall, of course, Florida State and LSU in Orlando. But there you have it, guys, our preseason GE Top 25. We're going to be doing this every week. Obviously, we won't do it next week after week 0, but at the conclusion of week 1, we will have our new fresh set of rankings. We'll do that every single week all the way up until the season ends because we don't trust the AP. We don't trust the playoff committee, but we do want to hear your rankings. We don't agree with everybody else's AP and college football playoff rankings. We don't expect you to agree with ours. That's the beauty of college football. That's the beauty of sharing our opinions. That's the beauty of getting this season started, guys. We are 6 days away from the start of the year, 6 days away from live action, 6 days away from upsets, 6 days away from crazy shakeups in the rankings. We couldn't be happier, and we can promise you we'll have you covered every step of the way. So, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below, including our expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Sign up for those today before our first picks come out on Wednesday. Check out our Patreon account for exclusive college football content year-round. And, of course, send us some gear to that mailing address down in the description below. Let's get some of your team's helmets up here for these top 25 videos and every other video we have coming to your way the rest of this season. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.